Hey there, it's Joshua. I know it's been a while. I'm here in my studio getting some work done. I've been away for a few weeks doing some vacation-y stuff, which has been amazing, which I'll tell you about in just a second. First of all, no, this was not stress-related from just the stress of this year. I have had this for like 12 years. You've just never seen it. So I am here in my home studio. I'm finally back after a good little while away, and I know it's been a while since I posted a new video, and I figured I'd just check in with you. I am actually here at home learning to do DJing. I know it sounds crazy, but I have been working on learning how to do this. I really enjoy dance music, and so I have been trying to learn like how to put mixes together. This is called DJ Pro. It's analyzing the music so that I know my screen is messy, so that I know like what key it's in. And yes, you can represent keys as like 2A and 4B and so on. It's a whole other system. The beats per minute, and this is just to kind of learn some very rudimentary mixing, which I find very, very cool. So one, I am going to post a mix. I'm actually going to tape it like right now. So by the time you see this, there should be a link to a site that has a mix. The reason that I'm doing this is because of something that I've been thinking about as it relates to us and our conversations about the world and public events and politics and news and all that other kind of stuff. I took kind of two back-to-back trips. One to an event in Sonoma County, California, a fantastic event that I just loved. And if you've never been to Sonoma County, please do go. It's the county just west of Napa, just north of San Francisco. Basically, if you drive the Golden Gate Bridge north out of San Francisco, you go through Marin County, and then you land in Sonoma County. You kind of can't miss it. And I just had a great time, and I loosened up, and I wasn't as pensive and nervous as I had been. Being away from being in day-to-day news has been amazingly healthy for me in terms of not being quite so worried about whether someone near me recognizes me, and I have to kind of like put on that Anchorman thing. I didn't have to do that this time, and it was amazingly good for my mental health. The other trip was to Chicago for one of their big LGBTQ weekend events called Market Days, which was amazing. Market Days is super duper fun. It is in the North Halsted neighborhood, which is a historically gay neighborhood. It's what they used to refer to as Boys Town. Went to some really cool like dance events, met a ton of people, and just was able to really be social and feel connected in ways that that I haven't connected in a really long time. And it was healing, and it was transformative, and it was fun, and it was crazy, because let me tell you something, Chicago boys, y'all go hard. Like, Chicago is a fun city. And so I came back from those two trips thinking, well, what does this mean for me? And where do I go from here, having had these experiences? You know, we haven't spoken since Joe Biden dropped out of the presidential race and Kamala Harris became the Democratic presidential nominee, and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz became her running mate. We haven't really spoken since then. And a lot of what I've been struggling with is how to talk about the news, politics, and so on now that that has happened. And I just didn't have anything cogent to say. Like, every time I thought of something that I thought I wanted to say, somebody else said it. And they said it just fine. I was like, well, I guess that wasn't terribly original now, was it? And usually when that happens, that means that there's something else on my mind or in my heart that needs to be expressed first. And I think what needed to be expressed was that my real creative interest, let me take my DJ headphones off. My real creative interest right now is less about the way we're going to vote, because I think most people have already figured out how they're going to vote. A few people are persuadable, but only at the margins. I'm kind of less concerned with the way we're going to vote and more concerned with the way we're going to live in 2025. If Donald Trump wins another term, I think it's going to be a really rough time in this country. Very contentious, very divisive. If Kamala Harris wins, we're going to have a difficult time as well, because you're going to have lots of Americans who are going to feel embittered by the result. And some of them may just want to burn everything down, and we may have to deal with that. And I realized that I can't plan for next year depending on what someone else does, on what you do as a voter. I have to plan next year based on what I'm going to do as me. And how do I plan for that year? What do I anchor my plans to? And I think what I anchor my plans to is my own personal prosperity and wellness. And you can do the same. Learning to DJ is a great new creative outlet. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I may never charge any money. I don't know. Could just be for fun or just for like petty cash. That'd be fine. I love music. And the more that I've done this, the more I'm like, I can do this. I can totally do this. Today I got a massage from this big buff massage therapist here who was amazing, but he hurt me. I feel like all of my sins and everything bad I've done in my whole life was stored in my body, and I have now apologized for everything I've done back to at least the age of 7. We might need to go further back past 7, but I certainly hope not because I was a baby. But it was a really intense massage, and I needed one. I hadn't had one in like a year and a half. And I'm going to feel better as a result. Recently, I got some blood work done, discovered that I'm pre-diabetic. I need to take better care of my health. Do not worry about me. I read somewhere that about 80% of people who are pre-diabetic never know. Then again, 2/3 of people who are pre-diabetic never develop type 2 diabetes. So I'm not worried, but it's just something I need to take care of. You know what I'm saying? I just need to take care of it before it gets any worse. So there's all kinds of like quality of life and quality of health things that are on my mind. And I don't want to shirk them like I did during my broadcasting career. And I think that no matter what happens in 2025, I am going to enjoy it much, much more if I am intentional about my enjoyment and my wellness and my prosperity and my service to others. I know that sounds real basic ass 3rd grade stuff, but I wasn't doing it for all this time. I didn't really do it when I was at NPR. I didn't really do it when I was at MSNBC or NBC News because I wasn't wired to. I had to let all of that other stuff process out of my system before I could even have the mental bandwidth to think about it. Maybe you've kind of put it to the side or figured, well, let's see how so-and-so turns out and then I'll start to work on it. I don't think that's going to work because opportunities, including some that have recently come my way, which you'll learn about very soon, came out of the blue, unexpectedly. And if I wasn't in a place where I was clear-eyed enough and well enough to say yes, then I wouldn't have been able to seize it. Everyone wants to talk about seizing opportunity, right? When you can just reach out and grab it. But are you even flexible enough to reach for it? Are you clear-eyed enough to see it through everything else going on in your life? And do you have the strength to wrap your hand around it and pull it in when it presents itself? If you had asked me a year and a half ago, the answer would have been an emphatic no. I would not have had any of the above. Now I do. And the difference is amazing because doors are starting to open. Again, I can't talk about them yet. I will tell you soon. But it's sort of wild. How can we preserve our own wellness and equanimity and capacity so that we're not at the mercy of our politics? That's one of the things I really, really hate about a lot of the political coverage right now. And they're probably better off not inviting me to be on any panel shows right now because I would tell them about themselves and I wouldn't apologize. These programs right now are doing a very good job, or they have been, of keeping people spun up about the election where everyone's like, this is the most important election of our lifetimes. They said that about the last one and the one before that and the one before that. Every election is the most important election of our lifetime because it's the current election. They're all important. But the idea that I should just be on tenterhooks from now until November, and then if the outcome is not what I want, then I should just fit myself for a pine box in a potter's field or maybe consider cremation, like that's just stupid. We got to live. We got to live no matter what the election is. We have to live in 2025. And more to the point, we have to live right now. I had so much fun at these 2 trips, and I want to be ready and able to have more fun at more things that I did not expect to bring me joy. And I want that for you too. I want that for everybody, especially you. Don't tell anybody, but you're my favorite. I want to continue to be useful to you where I can in analyzing the world and helping you make sense of it if I have something cogent to say. But lately, the most cogent things I've had to say are not about the news. They're all about my life and the lives that we're trying to live. regardless of what the news does. I think if we focus on that, the news, politics, current affairs, they will exist in a very different context for all of us. And I think that context will be better and healthier and smarter and more sustainable. So, if that sounds stupid, just tell me in the comments. I would appreciate your feedback. If that sounds confusing, ask questions. I'd like to know. Again, this isn't a hard, fast plan. It's just sort of where my heart is at. And you and I have always talked honestly about stuff like this, so I figured I'd just tell you. But if it sounds like it makes sense, if it resonates for you, or if you're on kind of a similar path, I'd love to know. Put that in the comments too. That's the spirit of the Nightlight, is to kind of light the way until the darker times in our world change. But that's also one of the mistakes I made, is I forgot that you can also use light in the dark to dance. We can't wait for sunrise. We got to use the darkness right now. And it's better to dance in the dark. Well, a good midday tea dance, I'm not going to knock that. But you get the metaphor, you get the metaphor. Waiting until things get better is too late. And that's something that's finally beginning to hit for me. And I don't want to miss the message, and I don't want to miss the opportunity to dance through the dark until the sun rises. It will rise. But why waste the moment right now? Speaking of dancing, I'm going to figure out this DJ software. I'm going to get all this together. I will post a link to the mix, and you can tell me what you think. Very upbeat, very energetic, melodic, dancey music. That's what I like. It's just really like positive, upbeat, buoyant music. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't, but you know, if you don't put it out there, it doesn't count. And again, I've had this for years before you met me, so don't get weird about the fact that I'm now showing it to you. I just got tired of taking it out. And we'll keep finding our way. I find that a much more interesting journey than just, here's what's happening in the news and here's what I think. That no longer turns me on by itself. I need some more outlets besides that, and I'd like for you to be a part of it. All right, let me get this mix together, see if I can make the software and hardware work, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, thanks for paying attention, and as always, my friend, keep shining in the dark right now, because someone like me needs your light right now.